will know somebody at the moment who is trapped either in rented accommodation or they're in, substandard accommodation or they're in temporary accommodation because we don't have the social housing we need in this country.
Well, yes, you say you want decent homes for everybody, but you're the one that decided that Labour Lords should vote against the government's nutrient neutrality plans, which they claim would have seen 100,000 new homes built.
To get round the table to make that happen, we put an amendment down which could have delivered on the programme. The government weren't listening. We don't believe that you have to wreck our environment to deliver the homes. We can do both of those things.
Angela Rayner, the deputy leader of the Labour Party, has been caught in a web of her own making. Her career claims have unraveled, revealing a stark contrast between her public persona and documented facts. Buckle up as we take you on a journey through Rayner's ever-changing narrative. We'll expose the truth behind her claims and show you why this matters for every voter who values integrity in their political leaders. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Angela Rayner's career timeline has become a shifting landscape of contradictions, leaving many to wonder just how long did she really work as a home carer? The answer, it seems, changes with each passing year, like a chameleon adapting to its surroundings.
Well, one of the challenges we face because of the Conservatives crashed the economy and the situation we're going to inherit is that we won't be able to reverse everything that the Conservatives have done over the last 13 years. The house building that I'm proposing at the start of conference that we'll be announcing more this week is about actually giving people secure futures and making sure that we can tackle things like child poverty. But we've had 13 years of Conservative failure, a crashed economy, so we're going to inherit a very difficult programme if we were lucky enough to win the next general election, and therefore we're realistic about what we're able to achieve, but we will change Britain for the better.
Rayner's public statements have painted a picture of a decade-long career in home care, a narrative that has resonated with voters and shaped her political persona. But as we dig deeper into her own words, a different story emerges, one that raises serious questions about the accuracy of her claims and the integrity of her public image. In 2020, Rayner took to Facebook to commemorate her election victory, proudly touting her 14 years service as a home carer. This post, meant to celebrate her journey from care worker to MP, instead became the first thread in unraveling her tangled timeline. Fast forward to 2021, and suddenly those 14 years had mysteriously stretched to 17. During the 2015 controversy surrounding the sale of her council house, Rayner claimed, "I was a home carer, and it was my home," implying she had been in the role for a staggering 17 years.
Inflation is about to hit 6%. That's the highest rate since the early 90s, when the Conservatives have been in power for over a decade. That fears about inflation were unfounded. But working people across the country are starting the new year facing rising bills and ballooning prices. So how did he get it so wrong? Millions of British workers now face a further pay cut, and his Chancellor is handing them a tax hike.
But what do the official records actually show about Rayner's employment history? The answer is far less impressive than her public narrative would have us believe. Lord Ashcroft's biography, based on official records obtained through a Freedom of Information request, reveals a stark contrast to Rayner's claims. According to these documents, Rayner worked as a home help for a mere 6 months in 1998, followed by a 5-year stint from 2000 to 2005. Even more intriguing is the revelation that during this period, Rayner was on facility time for up to 2 years, focusing on union duties rather than hands-on care work. This means that her actual time spent as a home carer could be even less than the official records suggest. The discrepancies in Angela Rayner's public statements about her career timeline are not just minor inconsistencies. They represent a significant gap between her carefully crafted political narrative and the documented facts. How can a politician who claims to champion transparency and working class values justify such glaring inconsistencies in her own backstory? These revelations raise serious questions about Rayner's credibility. If she can't be truthful about something as fundamental as her work history, what else might she be misleading the public about? It's a troubling thought, especially for a politician in such a senior position. Just when you thought Angela Rayner's career couldn't get any more perplexing, enter the Unison years. Her trade union background is a cornerstone of her political identity, but like her care work claims, it's riddled with inconsistencies that demand closer inspection. Rayner's Who's Who entry proudly lists her as a trade union lay activist from 2002 to 2005. But wait, didn't her 2014 candidacy website describe her as a trade union official with Unison? These aren't just semantic differences, they imply vastly different levels of involvement and responsibility within the union structure. So what's the real story here? The distinction between a lay activist and a union official is significant. Lay activists are typically volunteers, passionate about workers' rights, but not holding formal positions within the union. Union officials, on the other hand, often have more structured roles and responsibilities, sometimes even paid positions. This begs the question, which was Rayner, a grassroots volunteer or a more formal representative? The answer, it seems, is as clear as mud. Her own descriptions of this period keep shifting, leaving us to wonder what she's trying to hide, or perhaps what she's trying to embellish. But let's dig deeper. How much time did Rayner actually spend on union duties during her employment at Stockport Council? The answer might surprise you, and it's not what Rayner wants you to think. Official records reveal a startling fact. Rayner was on facility time for up to 2 years between 2000 and 2005. For those unfamiliar with union jargon, facility time is a special arrangement that allows union representatives to focus on union duties while still being paid by their employer. In other words, for a significant chunk of time, Rayner wasn't actually doing care work. She was knee-deep in union activities. This revelation throws a massive wrench into Rayner's carefully constructed narrative. How can someone claim to be juggling full-time care work with union duties when they're actually on facility time? It's a question that Rayner seems keen to avoid answering. The implications of this are far-reaching. Not only does it challenge the idea of Rayner's simultaneous long-term care work and union activism, but it also raises serious questions about her transparency and honesty. If she can't be straightforward about her union involvement, what else might she be misleading the public about? The revelations about Angela Rayner's career inconsistencies aren't just about one politician's credibility. They're part of a broader crisis of trust in our political system. Recent polls show a growing public skepticism towards politicians' honesty about their backgrounds. Voters are demanding more transparency and accountability from their elected representatives, and rightly so. This isn't an isolated incident. Similar cases of career discrepancies among UK politicians have led to significant fallout, including loss of public trust and calls for resignations. The intense scrutiny Rayner faces is part of a wider trend where politicians' past claims are increasingly challenged by both the media and the public. But why does this matter? Because when politicians play fast and loose with their personal histories, it undermines the very foundation of representative democracy. How can we trust them to make decisions on our behalf if we can't even trust them to tell the truth about their own lives? It's time for a serious conversation about political accountability and the standards we expect from those who seek to lead us.